Hello and welcome to High Desert Voices. My name is Bri Castellini.
My name is Alba West, and I just wanted to take a second to acknowledge our cool new jingle. It was written by a local musician, Chris West. He's very talented, and we'll link his Spotify down below if you want to check him out.
And we are here today with Melody Jones. Melody, how are you today?
Super good. Super good.
For those who, for some reason, don't remember who you are, could you tell us who you are?
Everybody remembers Melody, okay?
No,
But for the new listeners.
For the new people, yes.
On occasion, I run into somebody that doesn't know me, and then I don't know what to do. I'm like, what is my name? So I am Melody Jones. I happen to be president of the Western Colorado Writers Forum, which is, I don't know, the parent company of the podcast. Is that what we say? The umbrella organization?
The official.
Yeah, our business daddy.
Yeah.
Yikes. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to put a warning on this
We have to
podcast
say,
episode.
Mommy, we are female-led. I'm a business mommy.
I love that for us.
Let's just get that straight.
Western Colorado Writers Forum is business mommy to this podcast.
Heck yeah.
And you are the mommiest?
I am the mommiest. That's a scary thing.
I'm dead. I
Oh
can't.
boy.
Alba's not talking.
So
She's-
this
I
is
don't know
the
what she's
energy
doing
that I bring to
next
the
me.
podcast, everyone, and I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. Continue.
Oh, no
Melody.
problem, because me too. Well, what are we here to talk about? Let me know.
Well, you run a lot of journaling workshops. You do a lot of journaling related activities. And so we brought you on here to talk a little bit about that, maybe even lead us through a couple of the prompts that you might do and kind of talk us through like why journaling has become such a big part of your life and why you talk to other people about it. Because I haven't really journaled since I was in high school. So I'm very curious to hear from your perspective, like as adults, what does journaling get us?
Does journaling
Yeah.
get us? And don't call me journaling mommy. Ew.
A lot of people do think that journaling could be for teens, right? And there's like kind of...
Oh,
Well,
right.
it's more just like, I think for
Right.
me, certainly, and when we record with Mr. Van Pelt later, he can probably confirm, I was always journaling in high school because it was
Yes.
the only place I had control. It was like the only place that I could talk
Yeah.
easily and, express myself. But I'm an adult now. I can say whatever I want in front of anyone and nobody can get me in trouble.
Can you?
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
She's very confident on what she can say publicly and to my face.
But Melody,
Tread
from your-
carefully.
I guess when did you kind of like get into journaling?
Pause.
So, Melody, when did you first start getting interested in journaling professionally?
Professionally,
Creatively.
yes. Journaling has been something I've personally done for a long time.
Okay.
Although, maybe not as a super young person. I don't know. I think, stuff just happened. I'm like, I got to write it down.
Okay.
Just got to write it down for whatever reason.
Sure.
And I think we were just a minute ago talking about what's the difference between adult and teenage journaling. Probably nothing. We're all just have angst. I
love
angst.
that, yeah.
Don't be
Absolutely.
kidding. I'm not past my
I think
teenage
just
angst.
adults are just in denial.
Huh?
They're
But also
like,
how you process that angst, I think,
is.
is different.
I might still write down, how come Johnny doesn't like me? Only that's not the name anymore. I might still do that. So the
comedy,
difference between journaling and a diary. So in the old days, I can recall that my mom bought me a diary with a little lock on it because I know that's going to keep every single person out.
Yep, definitely not super easy to pop by
They're
your
not.
by your
No.
younger brother
No.
who
No.
gets into it constantly.
Thank God I did not have a younger brother. I almost choked on that. It was just, anyway, and just in the day, it was just about your angst. And journaling is still about angst because the truth about journaling is the journaling page is a safe place to write exactly what you think. Nobody else is going to look at it, including your younger brother. Because you're older now and you can hide that.
That's true.
Don't let him in
he
your
doesn't
house.
he doesn't have a key to my house. He
That's
can't
right.
get in.
He can't get in. And so journaling is just really consistently writing down your thoughts and your emotions and what's going on with you. And the reason it's so valuable, there's just a lot of reasons why this is so valuable. We already touched on the fact that the safest place to put your innermost, I don't know, demons, we can call it that, I suppose, your innermost, deepest thoughts that aren't the kindest, is on your journal page, right?
Yeah.
Because the truth is we're humans and we have these moments, don't we? So
it's a good
journaling
way to
really-
process maybe externally, but also not sharing with people.
Right, yeah. You may not have a
You know-
safe person to share with.
You don't have to perform to anyone.
You don't
can
have to
just
perform.
let it be unfiltered and true and raw.
You can say whatever you want. It's safe right there on your page. And so anytime I'm running journaling groups, we do ask and talk. They often ask, but if I put all the true stuff in my journal and I leave tomorrow, the earth, okay,
Sure.
what happens to my journal?
Yeah.
And I said that. So we have to, so every group
That's tough.
asks that.
Burn it.
And I said, there's a couple things. I have ideas. One is you have a trusted friend that will come into your house, locate your journal stash and burn it if that's what's needed, shred it, get rid of it, and they promise not to read it. So you can do something like that.
Yeah.
Get a good friend that'll come into your house and do that. Or you just have to trust that people might not read it. You could destroy the journals yourself as you write it. You know, if you're done with
Interesting.
one, you filled one up and you're done with it, you could yourself then do a ceremony if you wanted.
Have a Viking funeral
Burn that
for.
heck-
That's
burn that,
strictly
have
for letting it out and not for memory's sake, though.
That's right.
'Cause
It is just for
part of the reason I like journaling is because I'm like, oh my gosh, I was feeling, it almost brings back that same exact emotion from 15
Yeah,
years
see,
ago.
I like
and so I
rereading mine.
love keeping that,
there you go.
even if it's
So therein
worthy
lies
of
our,
burning.
that lies our conundrum, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
what do we do? So I don't know the answer. I wish I had a really pat answer for that.
Have a safety deposit box that you put them in, and you just don't tell anybody the
And
combination.
it just like, you know, eventually they do whatever they do at the safety deposit box place.
Get
Yeah,
dusty.
exactly.
You know, what do we do?
Like,
Like
listen,
dust.
if somebody wants it that bad and figures out how to break into my safety deposit box, they've earned it.
Yeah.
You
Be
get
used-
it.
Hopefully it's not used in history books later down the line, right? If it's the only surviving journal in Grand Junction, Colorado, but
That's true. Think of
That's all there
your
is.
historical legacy, people.
If my innermost thoughts are the historical legacy of this area, I'm scared for the people. Scared for
They're
the
gonna think-
culture.
So, are you an everyday journaler? Are you like a morning
I try.
pages?
I try. So that's a good question. Anytime I'm facilitating groups, we have this discussion about daily journaling and what that can do for you. So I call it a practice.
Okay.
It's just like a doctor's practice. Does the doctor know everything? No. They know a lot of things, but they don't know everything. It's a practice in which you learn new things. And so it's a journaling practice every day.
Okay.
It means that you strive to do it every day. And you set yourself up for success, as we say, to do it every day. And there are days where you give yourself grace because you might not do it.
Sure.
Okay, so here's what I recommend. You have to figure out what time of day is best for you. And this might take some trial and error. So I'm going to poll the room. I'm going to poll all 2 other people in the room to find this out. So here's what I say. So morning pages, a lot of times people who do what's called morning pages, okay, are setting the emotional tone for the day.
Sure.
Often you find that's true. If you do a midday thing, you're like, that's it. I'm going to my car for a break or whatever, and you're writing in the midday. It's almost like a reset.
Sure. Okay.
If you're doing it in the evening, this is when you can process your day
Right.
out of your head onto your journal, and then maybe it doesn't follow you into your dreams. And also, that's a good time to do the gratitude side of journaling. What can I look at in my day and say,
Stay
yes, this
positive,
went
yeah.
well? So this is the first task we do in any group.
Okay.
So Bri,
Yes.
are you all the times in all the days?
It's so hard because I see the benefit of all of them, and I just have such a chaotic schedule. Like some mornings I wake up and I have to go teach a class. I don't have time for morning pages. I barely have time for breakfast.
Right.
But also by the end of my day, I'm not a night owl, so I'm like, I'm too tired to do this. This is not my business anymore. The day was what it was. But you can't always predictably have a middle day. So I think probably I would gravitate to morning pages just because it's the only time consistently I have a little more control over my time and energy.
Right.
But I think I aspire to be an evening journaler so that I can have that reflection, so that I can kind of process the day and like let it go, rather than letting it chase me into my unconsciousness, which probably is not the healthiest.
Right.
seems very dramatic. I love it. So you're not a morning bird. You're not a, what is it, late owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. So it's like you're a
Early bird or a night
tired
owl.
pigeon.
Yeah, I'm just a half dead.
I think
city
I'm right
pigeon
there with
trying
you.
to-
I'm with
trying
you.
to make it through. You're similar, Alba.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to, when you were talking about the daily thing, the word diary, that's what that means, right? Daily, which I love because it's the little things that you can kind of keep track of that you would never otherwise remember. I don't know about you guys, I have a horrible memory. So when I like look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, literally nothing important or cool was happening that day, but it's so cool that I can look back on it. I think that's why I journal personally.
Yes.
I'm pretty good at staying positive or whatever, but it's like the memory keeping is a good one for me. I do a junk journal, which is not strictly writing.
No, it's not. I
Because-
love a good junk journal.
Yeah, I love little receipts off of my coffee, you know,
yes.
shop, you know,
I have
stickers that I get for free,
that.
little flyers. My favorite one right now is getting going to different art stores, and the artists normally have really cool business cards.
Oh, sure,
And so-
that's fun.
I do try to buy something there, not just go in and steal a card. But I love getting those and putting those in my journal.
Like little miniature prints. I did that
Yeah.
in college. Once again, it's all like stuff in my adolescence. I did a lot of this, usually prescriptive or just because like I was in class and I didn't want to listen, so I was journaling instead.
Yes.
A lot of my
Escape.
old journals are like it's 7:04 p.m. and I can't leave yet.
People will notice.
It's 7:15. I still can't leave, and just like counting down and like what's happening. I will say, even though I don't journal regularly as a practice, although maybe you're going to convince me, I do use a mood tracking app that kind of functions similarly, where it's like at the end of every day, I try to like think like, how did I feel today? Overall, was it a good or bad day? What did I do? You know, are there patterns I can pick up about like the thing, you know, certainly
have those
the
bullet
days that I
journals?
write, but it's like an app on my phone. And then I can write down like what I did that day. So like helps a little bit with the memory piece. I can attach photos to it from my phone and I can kind of, and it has certainly helped me kind of look at, did I have a bad day or did I have a bad hour? But
you go.
in the sort
Like
of
it.
wholeness of the day,
Right.
would I consider this a bad day? And usually,
I love that.
no. And that's been a good practice for me, certainly. But let's talk more about journaling. So we've talked about we're kind of all dayers.
I now have to respond to all the things.
Oh, yeah.
So
Please do.
first, Alba,
Yeah.
you were talking about looking back on your day. And let me tell you something. So my maternal grandmother lived 101 years old.
Wow.
And she
Good for
kept
her.
a daily journal, but it was nothing like the old, I hate the world, everything sucks, and why is it so bad? Hers was all put up the canning today.
Oh.
Went into town, because my grandmother was born in 1918.
So like, is it like a sentence a day kind of thing? Because
Almost.
I like those ones
Those
too.
are cool. It was almost like that. It was just, or, yesterday I had my daughter. My daughter was born. Okay,
Whoa.
Grandma, that's a note. That's a
Keeping
note.
track of
Great.
everything.
And then 3 weeks before that, you put up the canning. So there's that daily tracking that you wouldn't mind if other people looked at it.
Yeah.
In fact, your children or relatives or whoever is there when you're gone might really love to look back at how life was. Because you don't hear people say, I put up the canning today. I put up the peaches today. I don't even think I said it right. I think it's put up the peaches today.
My great grandkids are gonna see how much money I spent on coffee out. Jeez,
Why
that
do you have such a
girl.
big deal? What's this coffee thing? And then the tracking. Oh my gosh. So lots of things were touched on. So, and also, oh my gosh, I have so many things. I know. So, Bri, you talked about an app that you're using to track moods and you're looking at patterns and so forth. So, I'm going to say this as far as journaling past that, outside of actually tracking a mood, I always say write by hand. And I have people that want to debate me on that, and I get it. Okay. But there's research out there that actually shows, and I wrote it down so that my brain, by the way, could remember what I need to tell you.
This is a properly sourced podcast, y'all. We're not just three ladies yapping.
Totally, I'm 100% proper right now. And so, basically, let me look it up because they've done research on this, and it shows that writing by hand actually creates like a wide range of connections throughout your brain. Because to write by hand is to process as you write, and you're going slower. This typing almost shows almost no additional electrical sort of activity in your brain. If you write by hand, you have to process. You create your drawing.
slower,
basically.
yeah.
It
A lot
slows
slower.
you down, and I have people debate me, and I'm like, right, but that's what you want.
Right. Well, I remember getting that advice in school when they were like, because I was part of the generation that was starting to take notes on laptops, and they were like, I don't know if it's actually going to be as good for you. And so sometimes we would like type out our notes on laptops in class so we could get it all down, but then copy them down in handwritten. And it
really
certainly did help with memorization.
I was going to mention memory because memory was mentioned at one point. If you journal at all, it's going to help your memory.
That makes sense.
First of all, but if you write it by hand, you will increase your capacity to remember stuff.
Okay.
It's really true. And so deeper brain engagement, this is what they call memory encoding, deeper comprehension.
Sure.
Write by hand. So anybody who works with me in a journaling session writes by hand. And their daily journaling practice, whatever time of day it is write by hand. Next thing, set yourself up for sex.
Whoa.
Are you going to cut that?
rated
Are you
R.
going to cut that out, or can we leave it?
I think we can leave it.
Set yourself up for that too.
We're
Be
hinting
proper.
future
Depends what you're about
episodes.
to say. Depends.
Be safe.
At
Okay,
some
on
point,
we
we're
go.
going to do a spicy episode of this podcast.
I'll spice right on up. But success is also the other thing we want to set ourselves up for. And so you put your journal where you're going to be. So my journal sits, because I currently live with just me, myself, and I. It sits on the couch next to me because nobody cares.
Yep.
And so it's right there. And so I tend to pick mine up morning and evening.
Oh,
Both.
wow.
That is how I started to floss every single day.
But you put it
You
where
put
you are.
right in front.
You don't put it away.
No.
You're gonna see your floss right there every single day, but that's how you do it. So I 100% believe that.
Floss while watching TV, people. Okay, set it next to where you watch TV if you do that every day. So set yourself up for that and put your favorite pen with it. And other people have really great journaling success by making it a ritual.
Sure.
So you might say, this is my chair, this is where journaling happens. I've got my tea, I've got my,
Light a
pink
candle.
pen, and I'm setting my brain up. In the brain, over time, you're training your brain to know this is when we're going to journal. So ritual can be an important thing for people to do as well.
Ritual routine, just sort of
Yeah.
like making it a treat. So it's not like, oh, I have to do this assignment. It's like, oh, this is my moment where I get to drink my tea.
It's not an assignment, it's a ritual.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
But like you said, it can feel like work when you had a long day, when you're tired, you don't want to get up, and when you commit yourself like that, you're like, oh man, this is something I want to do, but it's hard right now anyway. So it's like self-control, willpower, all that.
So do you tend to use like prompts? Do you have like common prompts that you go to? Is it just this is free writing? Like what's
Good question.
what do you capture on the page?
Well, so there's a couple things. There's lots of different types of journaling, of course, as we know. And the first thing I start with myself in every group is just, I have something I call the rules of the road.
Okay.
If you want to be successful, leave the critic at the door. We don't care what the critic says about what you're writing. We don't care what the critic says about your penmanship.
There's a certain
Okay.
freedom that comes with that, right?
Yeah, no editing. Do not edit. Do not edit. Now, that's a tough one for those of us that write outside of here in more formal ways. I'm like, yeah, but I spelled... No, don't scratch that out. Leave it. Keep going. Keep the pen moving and write whatever comes to mind. Those are the rules of the road, first of all. Okay, so always that. If you're just getting the squirrels out, this is what I call squirrel writing. That is like you just sit down and you set yourself a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and you write whatever comes, just whatever it is. And if you're having trouble going, you just write, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? I have a lot to do. I've got this and that and the other and see what I just did? Because your brain will take you forward. Take my word for it. Sometimes you just have to start. So that's the free writing kind of thing. But listen, I brought my huge list a gigantic list of types of journaling.
Okay,
We go over in whatever groups I'm running. So the free writing we talked about, gratitude's a big one, huge one. It's become a deal out in popular,
course, yeah.
Gratitude. But it's true though. You want to figure out how good your life is, you can just by writing it down, because we can tend to forget. Because here's the thing about brains, okay? We have a negativity bias. The brain is like that.
Yeah, for survival reasons.
We're looking for what is wrong, what happened, what do I need to fix, what are the problems, and it's very hard unless you train yourself consciously to move to what is good. And there are things good every single day. And I mean, if you have to sit down and say, the water works in my faucet. Did we not just talk about I had just had a faucet incident, where the water splashed upon my person and I'm coming in here soaking wet, but I have a faucet and I'm so grateful, okay, that I have water in my house.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank prompts. You can do prompts, and I can tell you where to find those. So a prompt is just like my intention for this year is.
Sure.
Okay, that's a fill in the blank. You can do a question prompt, like what am I holding on to that limits my growth? We can get all serious and dig deep like that. I often do an autobiography, which freaks people out, and I don't let them get freaked out too much because I'm not talking birth to now. Because who has time for that right this minute? I don't. Twice your age. I don't have time yet. Okay. But an autobiography will help pull forward memories you've forgotten, because writing does that for you. And so you focus on a time. Did you backpack to India that one time? Did you have a really great wedding? Do you remember the vacations? What about, your baking? You love to bake? I don't know. But autobiography is something I do in a lot of my writing groups. Reflective. So the reflective is when we're getting deeper. We're looking into things that are more complex. So that can be the, difficult relationship with your mother, okay? Serious stuff. This is reflective writing. And the reason we want to reflect on this writing is to figure out what we're thinking and what we're feeling. You might not know unless
How
you
we
write
actually
it.
feel. It's like you have this thought, it's fleeting a little bit.
If you find yourself ruminating, and this is one of the things we have to look at in journaling, is rumination is going over and over the thing, but never coming to a
Stressing
conclusion,
about it.
never coming to saying the same thing over and over until it becomes its own rut in your brain. That's rumination. So you can risk that in journaling. So what we do is we do some reflective journaling, and then what can you learn from it? What can you glean from it? What do you see from it? What are the patterns? Are you saying the same thing over and over? And if you read back 6 weeks ago, are you saying the exact same thing? As if you are, then you haven't really moved forward in any way, and this is what we seek to do. So that's reflective. One of my favorite ones is list making. If you're having a day where you're
I
like,
love list making. That's my
tell me about your
favorite
list
thing.
making. This is my favorite thing to teach because it's
I have literally 2 lists right here.
I have journals in front of me.
Yeah, Alba and I both have journals for this, and both of them are very.
I have a really hard time sitting still and paying attention to one thing fully. I was telling Bri earlier, I have cocomelon brain because of TikTok and social media. So if anytime I'm watching a movie or I'm sitting down listening to anything longer than 10 minutes, I have things that just pop into my head.
Yes.
And instead of trying to say the thing, interrupt somebody, or get up and do the thing, like, oh, I have to deposit this check into my bank account, I have to do this. I have a list that I have to list here 3 or 5.
A lot of
shopping
your
lists,
to-do lists. Okay, great.
What I need to, check in with my kiddo about, what I have to plan out with my husband, whatever it is. I love such a good to-do list. I'm like, oh, it's so satisfying. I'm just cross it off.
That's journaling, Alba. I didn't know if you knew
Okay,
that.
well, fair
That's good
enough.
to
If
know.
that's journaling,
Then I do it every day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny is as you've talked about, like, a lot of the stuff that you're talking about and like the different ways of journaling and the different benefits of it, it's like that's what I get out of poetry, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, obviously I'm doing my to-do list.
She thinks she's better than us, Melody.
It's more that
Yeah.
if there's a thing that I'm ruminating on, I write a poem because like
Make it beautiful.
that's a better way for me to process it
Absolutely.
these days. Because
Valid.
maybe it feels productive to me in a way that journaling sometimes doesn't.
Right.
Very fair.
Because to-do lists are a very productive way of journaling, where it's like these are the things I need to do
Right.
today.
But listen, list making is not just to-do lists.
Right.
It can be your favorite. It could be your favorite music. A list of your favorite music, a list of things you want to do, places you want to travel, places you've been. Literally any kind of list. A list of your shoes in your closet. I don't know. It's whatever you want to in the moment. Don't limit it. If you feel like making a list of something, I say do it. Not just to do. Do not just do to-do lists. But go ahead, Alba, because that's
No,
do it. Then. If that's what
no,
you
you're
do.
good. You're good. So I had somebody. I'm trying to remember what her name was, but I went to the writing workshop. I don't think it was hosted by Western Colorado Writers Forum, but it was at that Palisade Motel.
Oh yeah, I know Trish Hopper.
Yes,
Trish.
Yes.
Yes.
And she had us make a list of things. I remember statements, and then list 5 different songs. Take a few minutes to list off 5 different things, and it was crazy how much just writing a list like that brought up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a list of 3 of my favorite songs, or the last 3 songs I listened to, and I could write on you just go out.
And you're off and running.
Yeah.
Off to the races, as they say. I should research that.
I've also heard that's a lists are a good ADHD hack. I learned that if you're someone who's easily distracted, instead of getting mad at yourself about it, if you're trying to work on a task but something else comes up, keep a list of just this is the thing that distracted me, so that you honored it. It's captured somewhere, so you don't forget. But then you continue on.
It's
with
not
your work.
stressing you out that you're going to forget it.
Exactly. And then once you're done with your task, you can look at your list and say, all right, these are the 5 things that occurred to me.
My distraction list. If there's a pattern, we could explore that too. Hey, we're all about patterns. Okay, art journal.
Yeah.
Mix of color, sketches, writing, whatever you do, do not freak yourself out. You don't have to be quote a good artist, end quote. We're not talking about that. It's about being creative with what you're thinking.
Right.
About capturing things that interested you.
In
that,
a visual way. Junk journaling is a form of art journaling. Yes, yes, absolutely. Mindfulness is a big part of all of this. So mindfulness is bringing yourself to the moment. If you're having a stress day, you bring yourself to the moment. Journaling will sort of naturally do that for you, but if you really can't get into it, you do some breathing. You guys know what box breathing is. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. Okay, just do that. Get yourself in the moment. So mindfulness, goals. There's those that love to write down goals.
I'm a big New Year's resolutions girl.
Yeah, same.
No, thank you. You know why? Because then I don't do it.
It's fair.
Nope. We're on opposite sides of that.
I tried to not jump on the bandwagon each January. I try to do them like maybe July, somewhere where I don't feel like I'm like, oh, am I just doing what everybody else is doing? I'm like, I can set goals whenever I want.
You're a contrarian goal setter.
I guess.
My birthday's in January, so for me, the new year is kind of
new
a new year
yeah.
for me.
Yes.
So I like New Year's resolutions, but I have gotten better at writing them. I will say, here's my hack for New Year's resolutions, which is you cannot make them like too broad, like lose weight, stop swearing. It's so big, but it's like it's not defined, it's not quantifiable. So of course you feel like a loser as soon as you just like fail one time. So I try to do things like walk 3 times a week, and then walk 4 times a week, or walk longer for one of the days. Make sure to do 1 art project a month, things like that like I know are going to benefit me, and that are quantifiable, that are doable, and that are things I already want to do, and now I have kind of permission and an excuse to do them.
Right.
That's very helpful. And I try not to have too many like tasks, like finish this thing, but I can have 1 or 2 of those, finish a new book in the year, whatever it is. But then I give myself ones that are like, be more present. And, these are examples of how to be present, or take more walks, things like that.
I like it.
That's helped me. Yeah.
It does.
But if you're too specific, it's such a balance, right? Because if you're too specific, you're like,
then you dread it.
Who is the CEO of this list?
Who made this list? She's fired.
This micromanaging boss in my own brain is making me feel bad.
Well, a couple other ideas I have. You've heard of bullet journaling. That became all the rage probably.
Yeah, it's still
5 or
pretty
10 years
popular, I
ago.
think.
Yeah. And so that's just
Just what she was saying about, tracking your daily habits, drinking water, and all of that. It's super cutesy when you have it in the bullet journal.
I tried to do bullet journaling, and then I don't have the patience for that I don't have the maintenance patience, and that's I think the thing with journaling that I always struggle with.
You have to do it once a month, right? You have to redo.
Right, I struggle with the maintenance phase, especially when you're doing it longhand. Like, it's
hey,
one
but
thing if you
I've
make
seen they have stamps.
document.
They have stamps for like your monthly page.
Oh, that's something I have to buy.
That's true.
So broke.
It's true. Yeah. Fair.
Too. Like at a certain point, then it's that thing where you're like, I'm going to reorganize my life, and then you spend so much time reorganizing things, you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just
reorganizing all the time. I'm going to write here's some stickers. That's what I feel. Okay, I've done stuff.
We're reorganizing the furniture on the Titanic, kind of a stuff, right? It's like, okay, is this actually helping?
Is it necessary?
Well,
yeah.
So that's something I struggle
people love
with.
it, though. I think it's soothing to be so structured. People who love structure, that would be for them. You and I, no.
I like setting up the structure.
Too structured.
But then I will
no,
continue.
it's too much maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why we get the squirrels out first. You don't have to maintain squirrels. You just write it down. Call it that. Nature journaling. So that can take lots of form. You might go pick up a leaf, glue it in there. I don't know. Okay.
I wish I would have brought my junk journal today so I could show you, but I just, this is kind of part of it. No, I draw a lot of people. Let me see if I can find
things while you're looking. Come back. You can keep found items like leaves when you're looking through that. Found items. But also you can just sketch. You could, if you wanted to sketch the dog over there, or the tree over there, or you can just say, wow, it's a beautiful day, and here's what's beautiful about it. But it's really paying attention to nature. There has been research also that nature, being in nature, and by nature, folks,
plein air painting,
I just mean your
plein
yard. Don't be too complicated. You don't have to go to the mountains for nature. Nature's right outside your door, if that's where you can get nature. But it actually calms the physiology of us being human and the brain. So there's research on that. Look it up. Mood tracking, we've already talked about that. So mood tracking is something that'll be interesting.
I tried doing that. I just am like, oh my gosh, am I crazy? Like, I cannot track my mood because I'll just be like up and down and up and down. So I've just like decided that's not for me.
You don't need to. Perhaps tracking a mood is too much information, Alba.
I think so. I think it was too much information for me.
Like pressure.
I just need to leave that out. I'll do everything else. I'll track my water or something.
I don't can track. Dream journaling, we have not even talked about. So to be successful in dream journaling, that's a tougher one. You've got to have it right by where you sleep. And if you wake up, the first thing you have to do is write down what you can remember as waking up. If you don't,
it's gone.
It is gone because you're like, I need to jump up and do the thing, shower, whatever it is, right? So success with dream journaling, that's what it takes. You've got to be right on top of it. But the more you do it, the easier it actually is, and the more dreams you will recall. And dreams will give you a sense of some internal stuff. Like I have certain stress dreams. I do the college thing, all right, where I show up and I'm having a test, but I never went to the classroom.
The anxiety dreams, killer.
A lot of anxiety dreams like that. Or the whole naked thing. Yes, I am naked here in college. I don't recall this exact scenario, so it's got to be stress. So, those things happen. Observational, again, that's just, these are a lot of crossover, but observational is just observing, literally just observing. You're going outside of yourself and you're just observing whatever is around you. And one thing I do as a poet is listen to conversations, because if somebody's having a conversation in public, they don't care. I mean, they're in public, right? So if you just pay attention, literally just sit and be quiet, and it's amazing what you can see and hear. And
I
that's
love
a type
that,
of observational journaling, but also
I try not to be too stalkerish, you know,
You can't
because I'll
be
draw,
obvious.
I'll draw people sometimes, you know, and try to, like, oh, that's
I
really
like
cool, whatever. But also don't want to
right.
stare for too
Don't
long.
stare too long. Just trying to draw your hat. That's an interesting hat over here. Just trying to draw that. So observational. Here's the two. Now these two that I'm going to talk about last, and then we can do more. Okay. Because we can talk prompts and stuff and some specifics I'm doing out there. If you want. So these are deeper things. The unsent letter. Okay. Has anybody ever written a letter to the person that you have an issue with, or anger with, or whatever it is? Now this is serious, so I'm going to be serious for a moment with that, because the unsent letter is really about catharsis. If you've got, and this can really be something you can use to address trauma in your life of any kind. So you can do an unsent letter, and you express all your tough feelings in it. And I mean, you say it. You say it. However it comes to you, you say it, because you're writing it potentially, for most of us, to a person or about a person, right? That's usually where that trauma comes from. But it's unsent. So once you get that all out there, it's about basically taking it from your brain and your heart and your soul, okay, and putting it onto paper that doesn't judge, and getting it here, from here to here, and you do it as many times as you have to do it until it's here, mostly. And I'm pointing to the table, nobody can tell me.
Yeah. It's an audio
It's fine.
medium,
It's
folks.
fine. Yeah.
Pointing to the journal, okay. Once you do that, you do not send it to them, because it isn't about them.
Right.
All right, it's about you. It's really about you and your healing and your catharsis. And then you will need to ceremoniously take care of it. So you burn it. That's the best way for most people. Burn it in a ceremony.
I do really like a good ceremony. I think I will probably end up burning some stuff here and there, you know.
Be careful that we are in a water shortage right now, and it's
Don't-
been a
Yes,
pretty
I
dry
know.
year. So hey,
It's
Coloradans,
horrible.
we're just telling you to be
Fireplace.
cautious. Fireplace.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
130
water.
years, never this dry for 130 years of recorded history.
just had to say it.
Let's put it up.
Yeah.
Alba, don't set the state on fire. I'm just gonna say.
I will not do that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. No, thank you. Okay. The next one is, now this is I use caution. You might want to have a support person in place for you if you do this next one as well, which is what I call worst case scenario. And this is battling that rumination thing we talked about. If all you can think about is the worst case scenario in something, then let's write that. Okay. So this is happening. Acknowledge our brains. I'm like, here I am. I'm doing this thing. So it's a way to combat it by just imagining the worst case. Like, sit down and imagine the worst case of a thing. What is the very worst thing that could happen? If you're going to go extreme skiing,
Like your
I
writings
suppose you
get
could
published?
extreme ski yourself off a cliff. That could be the worst thing. But most of us
Right.
aren't ruminating on something like that.
So
Something is
actually, it's
stressing us
interesting that you bring that up, because I have been interested in doing an autobiography of some sort, right?
Great.
But when you write things that potentially are negative experiences in your life, you're calling out like maybe a family member
Yes.
that you currently know and have a good relationship with. Maybe you have friends that, you know, you can change a name all you want to, but what do you do? It's like, that's worst case scenario. The
Yes.
person knows that you're talking about them.
Right.
They're upset.
They come at you.
Okay.
They, you know, this is, what is it, defamation? It's called defamation.
It can be. So now you're talking memoir, and we've had to, so in the writing realm, we've had that discussion
It's
a lot.
scary.
How to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to write a memoir and you are going to discuss things that impacted you and these people are still alive, there's a couple things you can do. One is that you can obscure who they are. They're still going to know who they are.
Right.
But you can obscure it, and then they can't say, hey, you're talking about me. How do you know I named this person Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that. Or here's the other thing, is you wait till they're not here. Or you live with it. So it's tough. I hear what
it's
you're
tough.
saying.
Yeah.
And especially if you have it, or you could tell them. You could say, hey, I've written this thing.
I actually wrote an article once about how to tell people in your life that you've written about them. That I'll send you, because I've had this conversation with a lot of
I
people.
want that.
I just
do
want
too.
Okay, great. I will send it out. Well, maybe we'll put it in show notes. But one thing for worst case scenario is funny is that I was just talking about this with a writer, but for narrative purposes, because I often find that when developing good characters, it's useful to know from their perspective, like, what do they think the worst thing that could happen is? Like, in terms of the stakes of their story, what is the worst possible thing that could happen to them? And like, that informs so much about like how you make decisions when you have an understanding of what the worst case scenario is.
Yes.
So it can work in your real life and it can work in fiction.
So the 4 points to remember in worst case scenario is, first, define your fear. So in your worst case scenario, what is your fear? list how you can prevent the worst case scenario, because you're gonna figure out the worst, and then what can you do? There probably are steps you can take to prevent that very worst thing from happening. List ways you can repair any damage. So if the worst case happens and damage is created in some way, how can you repair that? Think about it ahead of time. Describe the cost of your inaction. So if the worst case happens and you take no action, what is the cost to you?
I like that. I like that it forces you to be an active presence in your own life, even when you're spiraling. It reminds you you're in more control than you think you are.
You are. And so worst case scenario, and that's how you map that out.
You have to be prepared for some backlash. Yeah, prepared for some.
Yeah, that's right.
Wish for the best, prepare for the worst.
There you go. That's right. So that's basically the list.
Yeah, that's great. I think there's a lot of things.
So
you
many
just
different ways.
pick them out. And as we already talked about, you can use them for fiction and for nonfiction. But
absolutely.
Certainly for understanding yourself, it's always nice to have a place to start.
I'd like to understand myself. Somebody should.
So, Melody, we're wrapping up here. So what do you, obviously we would love to talk to you longer about this, but it sounds like that might be an opportunity. So do you have things coming up that maybe folks might want to know about?
So there's two different tracks I'm on right now in in my journaling world. One is I work with a group out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Actually, they found me. And it's a group of caregivers, and these are people that didn't know they would be the caregiver for a spouse or somebody with an issue going on.
Aww.
And this particular one, it's early onset dementia, and I run a group. Obviously, it's hybrid. They have a room there, or they can come in on Zoom, and I come in on Zoom. It's a hybrid scenario where it's caregivers, early onset dementia patients, and anybody else. They offer it to everybody, and staff members can come in. And it's been really, really rewarding. To run that sort of thing. So I'm doing some of that here too. I've got some classes coming up at the Universalist Unitarian Church, which we're nearby right now. I can't think, something like that. So on their calendar.
We will definitely put links
to Thank
all.
you. The
yes.
UU I always call it, but it's got a whole big name. And so I've got some classes that I'm running there locally. I also have a couple other things in the works. I can, it's going to be on the websites.
Great.
So I have two websites. The one for the caregiver site is going to be melodyjonesauthor.com.
Okay.
But also I have a new
Is
track.
that specifically tailored to people taking care of family? Or is
That's
that...
just, no, all the groups listed there are that and other types of groups, because one thing I guess people don't know about me is I come from a therapeutic casework background, social work background, and I've run many therapeutic type group. So I can take any group and work with them with journaling. So grief groups, women's groups, divorce groups, anything.
Okay.
But caregivers tends to be where people find me for whatever reason. On the other side of it, I have a whole new track as well called journaling. I can't talk.
Well, it's not like we're doing a podcast. That's fine.
It's okay. It's only a talking podcast.
We're all
okay.
just
You should have
staring at
waters
each other.
for people here.
Stare
It's
at
fine.
me.
We'll look away so you can talk. Go ahead.
Journaling for the hot, bothered, and unfiltered. What do you think I mean, Bri? You've heard me talking.
I'm
Do you
gonna.
think I mean the perimenopause and menopausal crowd?
Yeah, I was
Journaling.
gonna maybe have an inkling of that.
Hot, bothered, and unfiltered, and I'm not kidding.
I love that.
Now, I've got a new website for that end of things called journalingwithmelody.com. Can you believe that was available?
Very
That
nice.
is-
In this day
Yeah.
and age, I'm like, how is that possible? So it's not up and running yet, but it will be.
Okay.
And I'll be putting a bunch of stuff out on, I repurposed an Instagram one, so it's Journaling with Melody on Instagram as well. Because
Okay.
I'm trying to refresh my life, because I am all about journaling for the hot, bothered, and unfiltered. Now, all the stuff we talked about here was on the therapeutic side. It's still therapeutic on the bothered and unfiltered side, but we're going to say it differently. Like, we're going to rage on the page.
Ooh, I like
We're going to say,
it.
like, I am so over ... Okay, we're going to talk about, I don't feel well, and here's why. Because it's okay if you're, chaos, hormonal chaos. We're in it together. And so I'm going that direction where I can be more on the irreverent side, as I tend to be in life, where I can say plainer language and come at it with the way I talk, which is hot, bothered, unfiltered anyway.
Sure.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing, and I have a course that I'm putting up. It's a $27 self-help course for the hot, bothered, and unfiltered, and so that'll be up and running on Instagram as well.
Very cool. All these links we will be collecting in show notes. So if you look in the description of the podcast, we're gonna have links to all this, folks.
That's right, we are.
Because clearly we need more Melody.
Yeah,
You agree that you need more Melody.
excited to share with you guys that we're going to have some more regular guests on the podcast as well. So before we were kind of just interviewing, not just, but we were interviewing local writers, but we're scooching towards also having regular guests talk about, Melody's got a lot going on that could be interesting to people listening.
True.
So we're excited to see what happens
Bring
next.
me back. Can we
Yes,
have a Melody
please
hour?
do. Yeah,
Just
please
an hour,
do.
as if I can have an hour, but just in case. Okay, I would love to. Are you kidding? I'll talk about stuff all day long.
Awesome.
I'd love to help people.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, on that note, we all love to help people, and we love Melody. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks,
Thanks
Melody.
for listening to High Desert Voices. I have been Bri,
And I have been and still am Alba.
and we are all still who we are at the beginning, but maybe a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
High Desert Voices is the official podcast of the Western Colorado Writers Forum, a nonprofit organization based in Grand Junction, Colorado. The forum's mission is to foster a rich and diverse writing community on Colorado's western slope that invites participation from diverse cultures, customs, and life experiences. The forum hosts Writers' Night presentations at the Grand Junction Center for the Arts on the first Tuesday of every month, where local and national writers give presentations on their craft. Sign up for the forum's free newsletter and listen to all our podcast episodes for free at westerncoloradowriters.org.